Birthdays are like regrets. They just keep coming.
Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we're going to talk about why Max Payne was a failure and changed the trajectory of Rockstar games going forward. There are a lot of comments that Max Payne 3 was underrated, underappreciated, and more. And those comments aren't wrong. The game is a banger. It's so much fun. That said, it was a commercial failure for Rockstar, and we're going to talk more about it. Make sure to drop this video a like if you enjoyed it. Max Payne 1 was released in 2001 and developed by Remedy Entertainment. It was a third-person shooter game heavily influenced by Hong Kong cinema, and also revolutionized bullet time. We see this effect used in a number of games right now, from the Red Dead Redemption series to really any game that slows down time and allows you to do actions. Max Payne 1 pioneered and did it really well. After the success of Max Payne 1, selling roughly 4 million copies, Max was a hot commodity. In 2002, the Max Payne brand was sold to Take-Two for $34 million. This was one of the first times that a highly successful gaming IP transferred ownership. And with Rockstar Games as the publisher, Remedy Games developed Max Payne 2. And wow, what a game even 20 years later. The gameplay took everything from Max Payne 1 and made it even better. It was bigger and better, with many gameplay elements improved, including adding another playable protagonist, if you want to call her a protagonist. Mona added so much to Max Payne 2. Even with those sexy 2003 pixels, Max Payne 2 was still a failure commercially, causing Take-Two to reforecast their financials and made about half the money as Max Payne 1. In trying to investigate the reason, there isn't really a good one. The game had stellar reviews, wasn't a buggy or crazy launch, had no level of controversy. The failure got chalked up to poor marketing. With Take-Two likely not happy with the financial performance of Max Payne 2, the reins went to Rockstar to develop Max Payne 3. In March of 2009, there was an announcement for a release date of Max Payne 3 for the winter of 2009. There was an interview in October with Geronimo Barrera, as well as Rob Nelson from Rockstar, around Max Payne 3. They talked about their experience filming in Brazil, a little bit about the game, and one part that really caught me. Rockstar talks about how they're not going to use James McCaffrey again. Instead, they plan on casting a new voice actor who can better express the toll that the years has taken on the protagonist. And then Barrera jokes that he could voice over some Max Payne stuff, starting a mock serious voice. I think even the thought of replacing James McAfee as the role of Max Payne is a silly one, and even more, I think it's a little insulting that Barrera thinks he can just do the voice and make fun of it. I don't know, the guy's a jerk. Same dude that would freak out at everyone in the office and was accused of some pretty questionable stuff, but who knows. I know with the recent passing of James McCaffrey, we might not have a choice in the upcoming Max Payne remakes. We'll have to wait and see though. So 2009 came and went. No news of the game came up other than confirmation of its continued development. Not until late 2011, new trailers started to pop up announcing a May 2012 release. Well, we know at least as of October 2009, James McAfee was not involved in the project. And we know by the time the game was released in 2012, James was not only the voice, but the mocap for Max Payne. We do know that the development of Max Payne 3 was very difficult, as per an interview with a Rockstar developer by Swagda. Which is pretty obvious if the game was scheduled to come out in winter of 2009 and didn't come out to almost summer of 2012. And then finally in September of 2011, Rockstar announced a March 2012 release date for Max Payne 3. And then Rockstar, trying to learn lessons from Max Payne 2, embarked on its biggest and boldest marketing effort thus far. Some of the things they did were highlights during the UEFA Champions League final, as well as a bunch of outdoor campaigns. They even ran a competition on Twitter that you could get your likeness featured in the multiplayer version of the game, which is pretty cool. Probably the coolest piece of marketing was a 3-part Max Payne comic series that was released around the launch of the game. It was published in partnership with Marvel Custom Solutions, and it went around the events of the original Max Payne game, its sequel, as well as delving into the protagonist's troubles past. It was trying to close the gap between Max Payne 2 and 3 as well. Max Payne 3 finally came out in May of 2012 to amazing reviews. And like Max Payne 2, but at a much more expensive scale, it was a financial failure. But how could that be with Rockstar's magic behind it? You have James McCaffrey back, you have an interesting story, you have probably the best gunplay that's been seen in a video game since, one could argue. You know, Rockstar put all this money behind the marketing. That should fix the problems that Max Payne 2 had, right? Well, it didn't. The game's sales were disappointing. It did sell 3 million copies upon its first week of release, but sales stalled pretty quick, and 2 years after the game's release, it's only sold 4.5 million copies. And that's the last real known information around its commercial performance. Sure, the game sold more than Max Payne 1 and 2, but at a lot higher of a cost. In fact, Rockstar needed to sell about 4 million copies to break even, and they barely exceeded that. By contrast, GTA 5 sold 16 million copies in its first week. Heck, even LA Noire sold 4 million copies in its first month. People weren't that interested, and there might be a few reasons for that. We know it sold poorly, and we can speculate to why. It wasn't lack of money or investment, that's for sure. One reason is that Max Payne 1 and 2 were Remedy games through and through. It'd be like Rockstar developing the next Elden Ring game, or From Software developing the next GTA game. It might be cool, but it doesn't feel like a continuation of that same series. Max Payne 1 and 2 had such a specific identity of world building. Like, for example, the world building with the Max Payne 2 theme song within the game is just out of this world for that time period. Check this out.
Night, it's a late goodbye. Hey, hey!
It's a late goodbye, and we keep driving through the night.
That's the theme song to Max Payne 2 called Late Goodbye by Poets of the Fall. It's such an innovative way to integrate a theme song to your game into the game itself. And I think it's fair to say that anytime you remove Poets of the Fall from a game series, it's gonna get worse. Rockstar is really good at building music into their games. Remedy Games is exceptional at it though, and it's tough to match that. And the specific stylized approach to game telling was much different from Max Payne 1 and 2 to Max Payne 3. Gone was that graphic novel style of approach to storytelling, and what was back was this stylized text popping on the screen, some stop action stuff. It looked cool as itself, but it didn't look like it should have been the natural next step for the Max Payne franchise to go with that approach to storytelling. Another was that departure from that film noir type of look. You can argue that you could still tell that story on the sunny streets in Brazil. Personally, I wasn't feeling it. I think that was one thing that made the first two Max Payne games really special, and although the third one has its own level of darkness, it just wasn't the same thing. The first two games had that real hard-boiled detective feel, while the third game just felt like something way different. Additionally, the first two Max Payne games were written by Sam Lake. The third one was written by Dan Houser and a few of the writers from Rockstar. Don't get me wrong, Dan Houser is an exceptional writer. I mean, he brought us the Red Dead Redemption series. I personally don't think they delivered a compelling or interesting enough story. Now that's in comparison to the first two. It's still a fantastic story from a standalone standpoint. Although it had its own level of darkness, it just didn't have that feel of the first one, where Max is looking for vengeance against the death of his wife and daughter. Or that dark femme fatale feeling of the second one. And just created this disconnected feeling. This could have been a really amazing new IP, as the backstory didn't really mean much to the main story. And it just didn't seem to resonate to Rockstar's expectations with gamers. But here was the massive impact. It changed the trajectory of Rockstar games. Gone was any possibility of risk-taking by Rockstar and Take-Two games. We know at least a couple games got cancelled during this period, one being Agent and the other one being Bully 2. And Max Payne 3's troubled development was part of that. Since Max Payne 3's release in 2012, Rockstar has only released two new titles, that being GTA 5 in 2013 and Red Dead Redemption 2 in 2018, with GTA 6 being scheduled for release sometime in 2025. I think it's great news that the Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes are being handled by Remedy Games, as I think we all want the series to be successful, with two of the three games financially failing. From a combination of poor marketing in Max Payne 2 and some weird creative choices in Max Payne 3. It's been well over 20 years since Max Payne 1 came out, and since that time, Remedy has showed us time and time again what they are capable of. Really excited to see where they go with it. Make sure to subscribe if you want to keep up to date with Max Payne remake news, because it's coming. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. I'd love to know your overall thoughts on Max Payne in the comments. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.